Well, India's largest paint maker, Asian Paint, seems to be pretty resilient to the localized lockdowns that we are seeing in the second wave of the pandemic. The stock price surged as much as 10% in the early hours of trade today after it delivered its fourth quarter numbers. Yes, it was that 48% volume growth number that really did steal the show. But there were other areas of the numbers that left the street wanting more in terms of margins. But yeah, nevertheless, a massive rally being witnessed in the stock price. Like I said, 10% higher, and the street as well has come away with very positive views. Let's first talk about the fact that how Mr. Amit Syngle in his conversation with ET Now said that yes, it definitely has been quite a good quarter for them. Jan and Feb were very strong. The last week of March was when they saw a little bit of skittishness come in on account of the lockdowns that came in. But nevertheless, he says that even when it comes to the localized lockdown, April has actually been quite a good month for them. It's in fact better than expectations. May, of course, has been tough. There have been supply chain issues, but he's sure that normalcy will return. It's perhaps this positive sentiment that has spurred a rally in the stock price of Asian Paints. He says that even in Q4, they built up on the growth seen in Q3. He says we saw a lot of new demand coming in, not just from retail consumers, but from the project side of the business as well, buildings, societies, etc. The other concern for Asian Paints was with respect to raw material inflation. Amit Syngle says that gross margins have been lower in Q4 on a year-on-year, on a QoQ basis as well. In fact, he says that material inflation has been to the tune of 7 to 8%. But he adds that we looked at overhead and cost control in a strong manner. The company only took a rate hike in May. They did not want to disturb demand too much. Yes, there is elasticity in demand, but Mr. Syngle does say that he hasn't seen that much for retail consumers, because a 2 to 2.5% price hike translates only to a 400 to 500 rupee jump in costs for painting for the retail consumer. It is the bigger businesses, like the projects businesses, the buildings, housing society businesses, that tend to be a bit more sensitive to price hikes. Now, the other big area for Amit Syngle and for Asian Paints is also their expansion into the broader home decor business. He says they are propelling the kitchen and bath business strongly, but does add that the growth over there may be a bit slower because the market is largely unorganized. He believes that soon enough that business should start contributing in high single digits to the overall broad-based mainstay paints business of Asian Paints. So that's really the expectation. They are going to be focusing on the growth over there. Asian Paints, of course, like I mentioned, 10% rally. The street definitely very impressed with the numbers and I guess the future outlook as well.